Welcome to County Portal, your simple source for local government services and public records. Let's get started.
Do death row inmates get a funeral? It's a question that cuts to the core of our justice system, exploring what happens after the ultimate penalty is carried out. The simple answer is yes, they can, but the reality is much more complicated and depends almost entirely on the inmate's family. Once an execution is complete, the state's legal authority over the person ends. The body is not the property of the government. The first and most common procedure is for the prison to release the body to the inmate's next of kin. If the family chooses to claim the body, they are then fully responsible for everything that follows. This means they must organize and pay for the entire funeral process, from the funeral home and transportation of the remains to the burial or cremation. The state does not provide any financial assistance for a traditional funeral service. The family handles it just as they would for any other relative who has passed away. But what happens when the family is unable or unwilling to claim the body? This happens for many reasons. Sometimes the family is completely estranged and wants nothing to do with the inmate. In other cases, they may be overwhelmed by grief, shame, or the sheer financial burden, as funerals can be incredibly expensive. If no one comes forward to claim the body, the responsibility then falls back to the state. However, the state does not provide a traditional funeral. Instead, the focus is on a simple, dignified, and cost-effective disposition. In most cases, the unclaimed body will be buried in a prison cemetery, often located on prison grounds, or in a local public cemetery, sometimes called a potter's field. These burials are stark and anonymous. The graves are typically marked not with a name, but with a simple number or a small, plain marker. One of the most well-known is the Captain Joe Bird Cemetery in Huntsville, Texas, which serves as the final resting place for hundreds of unclaimed inmates. In some rare instances, a spiritual advisor, a church, or an advocacy group that was close to the inmate might step in to help organize or fund a modest service if the family cannot. Ultimately, the right to a funeral exists, but the ability to have one is a private matter, resting on the shoulders of a family that has already endured an immense and complex tragedy. The state's role is simply to carry out the sentence and then, if necessary, to provide a final, anonymous burial. Thanks for watching. If you found this topic interesting and want to explore more complex questions about the justice system, please consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this one.